Imam Ahmad, when the fitna happened, at that time, our ummah was at a stage where it could have all gone astray. Meaning the Khalifa, the Wali al-Amr, the leader, had taken an aqidah that was false. He had said the Quran is makhlooq, is creation. As the Mu'tazila, they pushed this aqidah. And this was forced on everybody. And the ulama divided into three. Those that sold out. Those that, when the government pressure came, they sold out. And those that left, they made hijrah. They left to other lands, they went to Egypt, they went to different areas. And those that became quiet. They didn't sell out, they said what they had to say. They said it, but with the intention in their heart that they didn't believe it. There was only two people left in the ummah there, in that area, that stood on the haqq. Muhammad bin Nuh and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. There's only two, and even the Muslim ummah is against you. And right when the mihna began, Muhammad ibn Nuh died. So now who's left? One man. Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Why do we call him that? Not because of his fiqh, not because of his work in hadith, because of his defense of the aqidah. So here, he's left. They tell him, we will kill you. He said, khalas, no problem. Kum shuhada. We'll imprison you. Imam Ahmad, they told him, we'll imprison you. He said, no problem. The prison is the same as my house. They told him, we'll whip you. Now again, understand something. When you talk about whipping, today you guys think like, the movies like little, When they used to whip, they would rip skin. There was the man who they chose, they said in 10 whips he would kill an elephant. Something like that. And this was somebody who would hit hard. So they said, we'll whip you. So Imam Ahmad, he said, I didn't mind becoming shaheed. Khalas. I didn't mind being in prison. But I didn't want to be whipped. Like I felt uncomfortable. It's something, it's painful, it's degrading. They put you just in the izar and they... He said, then there was a drunk. And he was there and he was whipped for alcohol, for drinking alcohol. And he told Imam Ahmad, you're Ahmad ibn Hanbal? He said, yes. He said, oh Imam, be firm on what you're upon. He said, I have been whipped for drinking alcohol and I still drank. So if I can be patient for ma'asi, for sin, you should be more patient for the haqq. Imam Ahmad said, nobody's words gave me greater console than his. After that, I wasn't scared of the whip. So they brought the mihna, they started the trial. And the Mu'tazila, they had the government. So Imam Ahmad would fast in the day and they wouldn't give him food at night. And they tied a chain with a heavy ball, like a heavy metal. So you couldn't carry it even. So imagine you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're being imprisoned under that stress. And then they would make him sit and they would have a whole panel of the ulama of bid'ah, like those scholars that were of people of bid'ah, and they would debate with him. And they would throw from here, and he would respond. And this is very important. When they would put an ayah or hadith, he would respond, he would explain it. When they would throw kalam, when they would throw philosophy, he would not respond to them. He would tell them, bring me something from the Quran or the hadith for me to respond. This is an important principle in da'wah for us. In da'wah, our basis, our platform is Quran and hadith, not philosophy. Our rules are Quran wa Sunnah and the way of the Salaf al-Ummah. So when Imam Ahmad, when they would give the hadith and he would respond and he would give the hadith and the authenticity, they couldn't debate him. Oh, the panel with him under this, they couldn't. So what did they do? They didn't say, khalas, you're right, you have the dalil. No, they said, whip him. The people of bid'ah, the people of shirk and others, everybody of dalala, of misguidance, this is their way. When they lose the debate, they want to get violent. They said, whip him. So they tied an izar, and they put just we call it izar, and they started to whip And when they whipped, and this is not one of those weird stories, you can look this up, Kutub al-Tarikh. I mean, I have people of knowledge here, they can check me if I'm wrong. When they whipped, his izar started to loosen. The izar started to loosen. Now imagine he's being whipped, and you know he was whipped on the face, and his face ripped open. And afterwards, you know how they treated it? They didn't have any doctors and things like the way we have. They took metal clamps, they clamped his face, pulled up the skin, cut it and soldered it. Till his death he had those scars on his face and his back and his body, where the whip would rip the skin. So at that time he's being whipped. What is he worried about? His awrah not exposing. What happened to us as ummah? Today our youth are walking around showing their awrah. You tell them, akhi, what is this? Is the khilaf on this issue? Today our sisters are walking around with their awrah showing, not worried about it. They put a piece of cloth on their head and khalas, that's hijab. Tight jeans, tight shirts, makeup up, I wear hijab. Wallah, mashallah, I don't know what kind of hijab this is. You just didn't want to do your hair today. But Imam Ahmad, you look at him, he's worried about his awrah. So he makes dua to Allah, 2 hands come out of the ground. Tariq, witness, go look it up in the books. And they protect his izar. You look at these are the salaf of this ummah. And at that time, they start to tell him, the Mu'tazila, because they get scared now, they tell him, just tell me in my ear that Quran is makhlooq and I'll save you from the king. And Imam Ahmad tells them, you tell me in my ear that the Quran is ghair makhlooq, the kalam of Allah, so I can save you from the punishment of Allah on the day of judgment. These a'imma and ulama, they served this ummah. They went through hardship for this ummah. Imagine on the day of judgment, when we are standing giving our hisab, when Allah takes us to account, what did you do for my deen? And Imam Ahmad is there, and Allah asked Imam Ahmad, why were you whipped? He said, for your deen, ya Allah. Why were you whipped? For your deen, ya Allah. When we are asked that question, what did you do for the deen of Allah? What will we answer?